with a fascinating history, which began on the tropical shore of the Caribbean island of the San Vicente in 1635. The Garifuna people have incredibly maintained their interesting cultural traditions, blending West Africa and its Caribbean ancestry, in spite of the successive threats of the slavery, colonization, war, and deportation. Almost 4 centuries later, and residing now mainly in the cities of the Caribbean coast of Belize, Guatemala, Nicaragua, and Honduras. This unique Afro-Caribbean group still delight in speak their little-known Arawak language, in playing of dancing their punta music based on the drum, and satisfy your palate with its delicious millenary cuisine.
The fresh sea snail is cooked into small pieces and then cooked in poured lemon juice, onions, tomatoes, fresh herbs, and condiments are added. Coriander is an indispensable part. The best known and most sought after Garifuna dish, the sea snail, is a delicacy that illuminates the spirit or the corners of good eating and that only some can cook. Should be eaten only in one place, on some beach of the Caribbean Sea. The first snail is removed from its shell. The snail meat is pearly white and is extremely hard, which is why the cook sustains it by heating it with a stone. They cook it with onion and garlic in coconut oil. When it reaches its ideal cooking point, which of course only the natives know, the coconut cream is added and the spices are added, a delicacy of the goose.
Casabe. These are tortillas made of yuca or cassava that are served in the dishes as the common tortillas. Tajaditas, or banana slices. They are well fried banana slices, and depending the area, they can vary from very thin to thick. They can be longitudinal or round, and from green to ripe bananas. What doesn't change is that they are all delicious. They are served in some dishes instead of tortilla or cassave. Coconut bread. Delicious bread prepared with grated coconut oil. A very original way to accompany the dishes and give them a Garifuna taste.
The Garifuna languages, along with the distance and music of this Central American ethnic group, was proclaimed by the UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity in 2001 and inscribed in 2008 in the representative list of the Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity. It is known from very reliable sources that the largest concentration of Garifunas is located in Honduras, a country that commemorates April 12, 1797, as the arrival of Afro descendants to the Punta Gorda area in Roatan, coming from the island of St. Vincent. Its language, Igneri, is an Arawakan language with French, English, Dutch, and Spanish influences, reflecting their long interaction with various colonial people. The few isolated influences of African languages is the Igneri correspond mainly to the Yoruba of southern Nigeria. The religious and cultural tradition in these peoples originates in the west of Africa.
The religion of the Garifuna has many characteristics in common with African religion and also with European religions. It has many very complicated ceremonies which are a vital part of the religion, such as the Dugu. What is the Dugu? Dugu is a ceremony that lasts 2 weeks with the purpose of honoring the ancestors of someone who has very serious illness that modern doctors cannot cure. In this ceremony, the Buyay of Garifuna shaman decides whether the illness is caused by problems with the ancestors or not. In the language of the Garifuna, the ancestors are called Gubida, and the Buyay needs the help of his spirit assistant of Hiruha to help him contact and tell them his demands. When the Buyay decides that the Dugu is needed, there is an often period of few months to a year to prepare the necessary things as a sponsor.
My name is Keith Wood, and I will be speaking about the Garifuna dances, Punta in particular. It is a dance in pairs performed after the descent of an adult. It is danced by people of all ages and both sexes. It originated in Jurumay, San Vicente. It is said that when Lord Angina, head of the Aureanas, defeated the head of the Masaraganas, the winner celebrated the victory by dancing punta as a sign of joy, and the others in mourning. From that moment, it becomes the tradition of the Garifuna to dance punta when there is a dead person or in the celebrations of Easter. Punta means reproductions, as we said earlier. The Garifuna dances punta when there is a dead person as a sign of mourning, and not as many people who do not understand their culture believe that it is done because the Garifuna is happy when someone dies. In the past, punta was called landani. From the punta, there is a subgenus that is called colio. The difference between the two is that the punta is danced by a couple, whether it's a man and a woman or only between women. It is usually danced barefoot, so both the body and the legs can be easily moved on the tip of your toes, while the kolu is danced forming a circle, dancing men behind the women. There comes a time when participants change songs and dancers turn in reverse directions by changing partners.
The similarity that is established between the two dances is that they are danced in the same event. Their accompaniment is with the same drums. In ancient times, the Garifuna established rules for the dance of the punta. When it was a close-up wake, it was sung accompanied by clapping of hands. And when they need some instrument, they use wooden boxes, tubes, or sinks. This way they avoid disturbing the people around them, and it did not bother the singing and the music of all of thee. Today, instruments such as drums and sticks are used. The punta is a contagious rhythm, but it is gradually losing its value as an indigenous typical dance of the Garifuna and its culture. Through music, dance, and song, the Garifuna transmit and conserve their culture and history. With this, they celebrate their community festivals, their cults and rituals, such as Dugu and El Chugu, which are rites used in the worship of deceased ancestors. El Hungu is a soft dance where the men play the drums while the women dance denouncing injustice and calling for better community work, wishing for a better future.
The Garifuna population in Honduras lives on the Atlantic coast between Belize, Guatemala, and Nicaragua. In Honduras, they are distributed in towns and villages located in the department of Cortés, Atlántida, Isla de la Bahía, Gracias a Dios, and Colón. The Garifuna represents the important component of African origin that contribute to the basis on which the ethnic identity of the Americas and multilingual, multi-ethnic, and multicultural characters of the population of the region will be built are the product of a mixture of black and Caribbean Indian slaves.
The word Garifuna, which means people who eat cassava, the Spaniard called these people Caribes, which mean cannibals, and he's the origin of the term Caribbean. The mixture and the historical process have allowed an amalgam of the oral tradition of extraordinary originally. However, both Mayan and Western oral literature exist in the department and its municipalities. Garifuna tradition predominates throughout the region, making it unique and unrepeatable, since it is the most genuine expression of the Black culture in the contemporary Guatemala at the end of the 20th century.